Hi guys, once again, my name is Joy Kuda and I would like to welcome you guys to the MITES E2 and MOSTEC webinar. We're hoping to be able to use this webinar to better give you guys an overview of the programs as well as to answer your questions a little bit better. So to give you an overview on who we have on today, you're going to have Shauna Young, who's the Executive Director at the OEOP, Tiffany Decker, who's the Manager of Programs and Evaluations, Louis Fouché, who was an alum of MITES in 2002, Esther Lomeli, who was an alum of MITES in 2008, myself, Joy Kuda, who is one of the Recruitment and Admissions Assistants at the OEOP, Mira Boot, who is one of our alums this past summer in the MITES program, Christopher Koenig, who is an alum of MITES 2014, Emily Ramirez, who is an alum of MITES 2014, Trang Lu, who is an alum of E2 at MIT 2013, Patrick Agbuchulam, who is an alum of E2 at MIT 2013, Selam Gano, who is an alum of MOSTEC 2013, and Kenneth Collins, who is an alum of MOSTEC in 2014. And so now I'm going to pass it off to Shauna, who's going to share with you guys a little bit of the history on MIT's OEOP office.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shauna Young. I'm so excited to be with you today. And I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Engineering Outreach Programs, as Joy said. And we are focused on bringing the most talented students to MIT in the summertime through the MITES E2 and MOSTEC programs. I want to tell you a little bit about how we got our start. MIT recognized a long time ago in 1975 that we wanted to have more students on campus from all different backgrounds who had all different experiences come to MIT and study at MIT. We realized in order to do that, we needed to give them experience in high school. So the MITES program was started at that time. And then I became the executive director in 2008. I love the idea of bringing a group of 70 to 80 students to campus, but every year our numbers kept increasing and increasing in terms of applications. And so luckily in 2011, we were able to expand our program offerings, and we have a one-week program called Engineering Experience at MIT E2 and MOSTEC, MIT Online Science, Technology, and Engineering Community, was started also in 2011. And now we have the opportunity to serve about 300 students a year, which is so much more than 70 to 80 students. Moving on from there, I will tell you that the vision of the OEOP is to make sure that the science and engineering community is diverse, and students from all backgrounds will have the opportunity to really help us solve today's and tomorrow's problems. So that's our vision, that's our mission. We focus on students who come from communities that typically would not know about MIT possibly, or maybe have never had an experience here at MIT. And I have to tell you that what I love about OEOP is that, and MIT, is that MIT is a place where intelligence is respected, it's expected, and it's diverse. So when you come here, you will feel very comfortable, and you'll see people from all walks of life who are studying here at MIT. And I think our organization kind of mimics that, and we want to give kids in high school and middle school that opportunity. So you can see our values listed now, and we want to challenge you. I tell people that, yes, it's a life-changing experience, whichever one you get, but it is hard, and it's purposely supposed to be something that you could not do in your home school. We're giving you these academic challenges where sometimes the answer is just not known. You're not solving things that we already know about. We give you the tools and the knowledge to do that. We want you to learn something new. We want you to learn how to problem solve. We want you to be transformed. We want you to have this amazing community around you of people who have similar interests. And we want you to have access to a place that a lot of people don't have access to. So those are our values. To tell you a little bit more about the OEOP, next slide, Joy. We serve about 500 students now at each year. We have local programs, and those programs serve students who live in Boston, Cambridge, and Lawrence and go to those public schools. And then for the MITES application, which includes MITES E2 and MOSTEC, as long as you are a high school junior, classified as a high school junior, a U.S. citizen, or permanent resident, then you can apply to our 3 programs. However, I will tell you that you're going to do a lot of science and math, so we want you to like science and math. We want you to have a proven academic record because we're going to take whatever you have and take it to the next level. So we want to make sure that when you come in the door and you're here with us and part of the OEOP family, that you have the foundation we need to kind of help challenge you even more. Ready for the next slide now, Joy. And so we're going to, I think, switch over to the students who will tell you a little bit more about the program. So, Joy, did you want me to say a few words about that?
I'll give you guys a little bit of background on the programs themselves, and then you will hear from the alumni who participated in the different programs. So to start off, as you guys can see, we have 3 different national programs. We have the Minority Introduction to Engineering and Science. We have Engineering Experience at MIT, and we have MIT's Online Science, Technology, and Engineering Community, MOSTEC. So the first program that we're going to talk about is the MITES program. So during the MITES program, you guys will have the opportunity to spend 6 weeks at MIT's campus, basically getting a sweet, short, and condensed exposure to MIT. During this time, during the summer, you will participate in 4 different core classes, as well as take a hands-on elective engineering course. You guys can see examples of some of the ones that we had there in 2014. Although it is a very rigorous experience during the summer, and you are expected to have pieces, problem sets on the weekly, as well as midterms and finals, we like to make sure that you have a lot of fun as well. So we make sure to take our students on weekend trips. We make sure that they have some fun during the week and get the full experience of getting exposure to what it would look like to be a college student in STEM and see future careers themselves in STEM. So the first person that we're going to have speak is Mira Boots, and again, she was an alum of MITES this past summer in 2014. Mira, you can go ahead and share a little bit about your experience from this summer with our participants.
Thanks, Joy. So I'm Mira. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I'm currently a senior at Central Bucks High School West, an alumni of MITES 2014, as Joyce mentioned. And the greatest thing about this program is how far it has taken me today. The network and the connections you create a family that helps you through, as Joy mentioned, a very rigorous course load, but you have these people around you, and you have this family around you 24/7, and you guys like come together, sit in the lounge, and do problem sets, and like over time you create relations that still last today. Joey was actually my TA, and I find myself calling her for like 2 hours a day after. So like, especially connections. And as far as like relations with the MITES staff, also you have relations with the MIT professors and members. So I took the biochemistry. Sorry, not going. So before I started the program, I had some research going on, and I took the biochem course, and from that course, I actually was able to meet with my professor and even expand the research I was doing. And like today, where I am after what I've learned from that course is a whole new aspect of that research. So you talk to a lot of professors there, and there's so many opportunities as a MITES student on MIT's campus. Through humanities, we went to the media lab. That's the lab at MIT with multiple types of projects that they're doing. And the greatest thing is that the first day we walked in, Shauna turned to us and said, it's about how you will change over time. And I thought 6 weeks is not enough to change. And in those 6 weeks, and I kept a journal, so in those 6 weeks, looking back at those journal entries, it's like a complete different transformation. You become more independent. You learn how to take care of your schedule. You learn where to eat, and you just learn all of these different things, and it's a great experience. Besides from academics, I want to speak on the social aspect. There's actually different programs to even do like basketball. There is a basketball dance competition. There's a bunch of stuff, and it was great because it's just not just academics there. And the other great thing is it's not just core curriculum. They give you concepts, but most importantly, they give you ways to actually apply those concepts. So it was really great. There was these 2 girls who did electronics, Megan, and there's Megan, one of her friends, and they created this electronic device that will tell you when your cup is full to get waitresses and waiters to actually know when to fill up your cup. And when they share this, at the end we have a place to share all of our projects we're working on through our elective courses. When they shared that, they actually had an opportunity to meet with someone and possibly get a patent. So the opportunities at MITES expand far more than just learning just concepts. It's learning how to apply yourself and learning how you can contribute to your society when you get back. So it really helps with your senior year, and it really helps with connections. And what it really helps is developing yourself and giving you that confidence you need to keep moving forward and changing the world, like Shauna said. And you get really close with these students. On Sundays, we had meetings where we would actually talk about what's going on in our lives, and you just got to learn so much about a diverse group of students, which is great. And really, where you come from and where everyone else comes from that program is so different. And when you guys come together and make a family out of it, it's the most diverse and amazing experience that you won't be able to find anywhere else. As far as classes go, I took Biochem, Calc 2, Physics 2, and my elective was Engineering Design. So if you have any questions on those specific classes or any questions about MITES, I'd be more than happy to answer those, especially on the social aspect and on all the trips that we took. So thank you guys for your time, and good luck with your applications.
Thanks so much, Mira. The next person that we're going to have speaking about the MITES program is Emily Ramirez. So Emily, you can go ahead and share your experience as well with the students.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily. I currently attend American Heritage School in Florida, and so I'll tell you a little bit about my experience at MITES. MITES was an insanely difficult program in an awesome way. I was stretched way beyond whatever I thought I could ever reach, and as a result, I gained a ton of self-confidence in myself and my ability to solve problems. Now, if I ever find a problem, I just go and do it, solve it. Meanwhile, they also make sure that you don't just stay in your room and study all day. They force you to socialize. And so if you think you want to do your science work at 12 in the morning, then too bad, you have to take study breaks. And you learn to really appreciate those because that's where you make friends. Meanwhile, something that I felt was kind of unique to my MITES experience was that I not only got to see science as science, but I also saw science more as a creative art, in the sense that I really learned about how to blend all of my passions together and make one big pursuit that turned into finding out the links between science and art. This is probably due to the fact that I took architecture a little bit. So if you guys have any questions about MITES in general, about the academics or about the social life, the classes I took are Physics 3, Calculus 2, Biochemistry, Architecture, and Humanities. All right.
All right, thank you so much, Emily. It was great hearing about your MITES experience, and hopefully any of the students who have questions will be able to answer that. You'll be able to answer that for them at the end. So the next program that we're going to talk about are the engineering, E2 at MIT Engineering Experience. So for a little overview of this program, it's instead of being at MIT for 6 weeks, you get to be at MIT's campus for 1 week. And during this 1 week, you have a lot that's going on. So you guys are going to be focusing on one hands-on elective course, and we have examples of those courses below. But besides that, you're going to have the opportunity to get to talk to admissions counselors from a lot of different schools. You'll get to do a lot. You'll have financial aid sessions. We will take you around like the Boston area and to see all of MIT's campus. There's a lot that you get to do all condensed in this 1 week. Even though it is only a 1 week experience, we do have assignments for you guys to do as well. And so before I speak too much about the program, we're going to turn it over to who was a participant of E2 in 2013 to share a little bit about her experience.
Hi, you guys. Just a minute. Hi, you guys. My name is Trang, and I'm currently a freshman at MIT. I just want to make sure that the microphone is on. Okay. So my journey to MIT all began with E2 at MIT. So I didn't attend a high school that bred college students, much less a student that goes to MIT. But I knew I wanted to go to college, so I went out and bought myself a University of Texas shirt because that was all I knew. And MIT wasn't even on my radar until junior year when I attended the camp. That first day, I still remember Shauna told us that this week was going to be a life-changing week, and you can choose to let that change happen to you. And that just set the theme of the whole week. I was part of engineering design, and our task was to build a speaker from scratch. My first response when the professor told us that was, huh? And all of us had this confused look on our face, but this was supposed to be a life-changing week, right? So I just pushed through. That whole week, I went from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. every single day. And you know what was the most, just incredible thing about that crazy schedule? I woke up excited to go to lecture, to go to lab, to talk to people, to meet with the admission officer. Even though I was running on 5 hours of sleep and a lot of coffee, I was so excited. And, people say that when you know better, you do better. And sometimes all it takes is a week to change your life. It was incredible. Oh, I can also answer any other question you guys have.
All right, thank you so much, Trang, for sharing a little bit about your experience. To hear another perspective of how E2 was, we have another 2013 alum, and that's Patrick. So I'm going to turn it over to you to speak a little bit about your experience now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patrick Igbuchalom, and I'm from Valley Stream, New York. Like Trang, I'm also a freshman here at MIT, and basically that's a direct result of doing the E2 program. To be honest, I knew I wanted to go to college by junior year, but I had really no idea where. And it wasn't until I decided to apply to the MIT program that I realized that I was somehow able to maybe succeed in a place such as MIT. So basically, I did the electronics program during the week. Basically, what we had to do, we had to program and create a working device for basically biomedical sort of thing. So my group, we were the Nigerian flash drivers. We made a thermal cycler for sort of DNA replication. And at the beginning, I had absolutely no programming experience whatsoever, so I was really overwhelmed by the task that was presented. But working in a group with amazing students and being around so many cool professors who were so willing to help, I was able to get through, and that was pretty much the first programming experience I've ever had. And now I know that here at MIT, I want to major in Core 6, which is the electrical engineering computer science field. So it was all thanks to the engineering experience that I know what I want to do with my life, basically, and I'm really thankful to everyone who was a part of that. And if you have any more questions about my experience, I'd be willing to answer them at the question and answers section.
All right, thank you so much, Patrick. The next program we're going to move on to is MOSTEC, and we actually have the MOSTEC coordinator online with us, so I'm going to turn it over to Louis Fouché to talk a little bit about that program.
Hi, everybody. My name is Louis Fouché. Can you see me? Can you hear me? You can reply in the chat. Okay, great. So MOSTEC is a 6-month online program. We started it back in 2011. It also has a brief 5-day residential component. So we're focused on really exposing our students to the various types of science and engineering that are out there. And the way that we do it is we have lots of guided discussions. We have tons of guest speakers. We had about 46 this year via weekly webinars that happen twice a week. Also during the summer, before school starts, students take online coursework in the topics that are listed on the slide. And you also take a science writing course online. And then after 3 weeks online, students come to campus for a 5-day conference where you present the work that you've been doing online at home, and you also take a bunch of really cool hands-on workshops, even more guest speakers. You get to see MIT's campus. And then the program continues for another 5 months online, and it's a very, it looks and feels a lot like Facebook, but it has a science and engineering focus. We had 133 students this year, so it's a big program. And we have online mentors who are there with you every single week, who meet with you on a weekly basis to basically help you to understand more about the different types of science and engineering, and also to help you with your college admissions process. And we also have a very cool curriculum of blogs. Blogging is definitely a part of the new wave of communication in the 21st century. So we have students blogging every single week about various topics, a lot of them very important in terms of your personal development, in terms of your journey in college and beyond that. And I'm happy, of course, to answer any more questions you might have. We also have an alum of MOSTEC this year, Kenneth Collins, who is online, who will be able to share more about his personal experience.
All right, thank you, Lewis. Hi, everybody. I am Kenneth Collins, and as Lewis said, I am a MOSTEC 2014 alum.
Hey, Kenneth, turn your camera on.
Oh, sorry. All right, good, got it. All right, so I guess I'll start with the my journey learning about the MIT program itself, or this MIT program itself. 8th grade, I went on a tour of MIT, and I met Shauna and a couple of admissions officers, and they told the group I was with about these summer programs. And after touring the campus and just hearing about them, I knew that these were programs I need to try and sign up for when I came around to it. So 3 years later, 11th grade, I sign up, I apply, I get in, and I was probably one of the most thankful people in the world, because it's not every day you get accepted into an MIT program, you know. So get accepted, and the first week of, second week of July was when the MOSTEC website was launched, and I got on, and it was just exciting, and I hadn't even started anything. Just looking at the page, seeing how many people were there, seeing the people that I'd be able to meet, not only online, but in person the last week of July. It's something that this year the people would like to say uncomfortably excited. That's how I felt about the whole situation. So personally, academic-wise, I took the science writing course, as we all had to, and I did the electrical engineering and computer science course. Science writing, I found it very helpful, and it was actually very fun. The teachers, they assigned various science articles and books and excerpts from books and topics, and then opened the floor for debate amongst everybody that was in their respective groups, which I can explain later if you have any questions about it. And it was a great floor for debate and arguing and having fun and being able to express yourself in scientific terms and learning how to express scientific matters to the general public without making it sound confusing. So I found it very helpful. For the electrical engineering computer science course, for me, it was either between that and robotics, but I'm glad I chose electrical engineering. There was also much to learn in that one particular area. I learned how to program in Python, which I had never done before, and the assignments they gave us through the online course, I spent hours up to like midnight or even past midnight working on them and just kind of sitting in awe at how I was able to learn how to do all these things. So all in all, it was a big confidence booster seeing how seeing what I was able to do, seeing what I was capable of doing. Socially, MOSTEC was probably the best experience I've had in high school out of my 4 years. The interaction on the website, I mean, you weren't able to meet with everybody, but you were able to talk to just about everyone you wanted to, or anyone that was in your projects or course groups. And you also had small cluster groups, which were basically your small family away from home that you were able to interact with every week online. And my cluster was very open, very unique and diverse. And the week where we actually went to MIT to meet everybody and do our presentations and whatnot, my cluster, that was probably the best part. Everybody was very ecstatic, spontaneous, and as I said before, exciting. So every day was full of networking, meeting new people, meeting new friends, meeting some professors that were helping with the project courses, and also being able to present yourself in a networking dinner, which we actually were able to participate in, where you actually had to get an elevator pitch, as well as being able to present your ideas to the public, once again, which was what the science writing course helped out with. Yeah, all in all, it was just a really great experience. I was so grateful and happy that I was able to embark upon that journey, and it actually set me on the course to wanting to go into electrical engineering into the future. If you have any questions about my experience, particularly the electrical engineering or any other part of MOSTEC, I am here to answer those questions. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Kenneth. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about the MOSTEC program, but again, our Q&A session for the end is coming up, so if you have any more questions, we can direct you to it there. Louis is now going to cover a little bit more about the application process for all of you guys who are in it right now.
All right, so the eligibility requirements, you either have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, and you have to be a current high school junior. Requirements and deadlines. So those of you who have started your application, I'm sure you've seen this date, this wonderful date everywhere, February 4th, 2015 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please take note that if you're not in Eastern Standard Time, the deadline still applies to you. So if you're in California, that means it's going to be 8:59 p.m. EST. And what needs to be done at that time, applicant information, extracurricular activities, courses, letters of recommendation requests, and the 5 required essays. And also you do have to put in information for test scores, but we're going to talk a little more about that later. So we do have some flexibility in the application because we do understand that some of you took the SAT today. Congrats to those of you, and I applaud your efforts today. I know some of you actually got your test postponed because of the terrible weather in the Northeast. So, you know, we'll get back to you about how best to move forward with that. But we do have a secondary deadline of February 18th, 2015 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, this deadline only applies to you if you have pressed the submit button before February 4th. So to be able to press the submit button, you have to have completed all the student portions of the application and sent your requests for recommendations. So mind you, your recommendations do not have to be done. They don't have to be completed by your recommenders, but you do have to have sent those email requests, and it'll show up as pending. And you have to press submit before February 4th. Now, if you do that, then you'll be able to update your test scores. You'll be able to edit them in the application up until February 18th at February 18th at 11:59 p.m. And then also your recommenders will have time to submit your completed recommendations up until February 18th, 2015. However, the rest of the application you will not be able to edit anymore after February 4th. And as another note, once you do press submit, and as long as you do so, you know, once you fulfill those requirements, so say if you were to press submit today, or if you have already pressed submit, you can still go in and update and edit your entire application until February 4th comes. Then once February 4th comes, the only things that you can edit are your test scores. So hopefully that makes sense. And we've set it up like this because we don't want you waiting until February 4th at 11:58 p.m. to press submit, because when you have thousands of students applying and everybody presses submit at the same time, bad things can happen. So we're trying to give you the time to do it in advance.
Great, thanks so much, Louis. So now we're going to have the question and answer portion of the webinar. And the way this is going to work is that we have been seeing all of your questions coming through on the Q&A, so thanks so much for sending those in. We're going to try and answer a lot more of the general questions. We are not going to be able to get to everybody's question, but as long as it's in the Q&A, we've been able to see it. Tiffany Decker, who is our Manager of Operations and Evaluation, will be the moderator in terms of doing the questions and answers. So for what we've seen come through, she will let you guys know who's going to answer to the question, and they will provide a general answer. So I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany now.
By saying we're going to try to get to as many questions as possible. If we don't get to your question, please make sure that you email MITES MITESAPP @mit.edu, and we will answer your question within 1 to 3 business days. So first of all, I want to just say, remember that you need to get your completed application in by February 4th. And if you have your test scores and your recommendations in by February 18th, that's great. So just remember that. So let me pull some of these questions and try to answer some of them and send them off to the panelists as we need to. So first of all, have we already started to sift through some of the applications? The answer is no. We are going to be starting that process on February 4th and mainly February 18th once everything is in. So please make sure you get everything in. So what is the most important part of the application for getting into the MITES program? And another question along these same lines is, in the selection process, what are considered the most important aspects of the application? GPA, income, race, ethnicity, essays, experience in engineering, etc. So I'm going to send that on to Shauna and see if she has a response for you. Shauna?
Great, thank you, Tiffany. I think I can do my thing also. You've all already seen me, so I'll just quickly try to answer. First of all, I would say your academic preparation. So really pay attention. You know, you are who you are, so you have to put your best foot forward, your best self forward, and you want to take time with your application. The grades you have are the grades you have, the test scores you have are the test scores you have, so you put those out there. And I think at this point you focus on your essays. Really spend time with your essays, be thoughtful about your essays, and also make sure your recommenders know that you need a recommendation from them. So we need your current science, current math, and your guidance counselor. Giving them more time will probably allow them to spend more time on your recommendation and also make those equally as strong. So we look at all the factors. There's not one thing that stands out more than the other, but we are looking for students who can do the work that we're going to put in front of them. On our website, you'll see what we suggest in terms of students, in terms of your academic pieces. We recommend that you have a 3.5. Doesn't mean that you have to absolutely have a 3.5, but that's what we're recommending. And we're recommending students who are taking the PSAT to have a 60 on the math portion and a 27 on the math portion for the ACT or plan. So those are recommendations just to give you a sense, but we do review all applications.
Thank you, Shauna. Let's see. can I apply to more than one of the programs offered at MIT? So yes, if you would like to apply to RSI or any of the other programs, please do. We recommend that you apply to as many different programs as you can. Is there anything else that you would like to add, Shauna?
No, I think just know that when you apply to our program, that one application you'll be automatically considered for MITES, MOSTEC, and E2. But there are other programs at MIT that you should consider. I tell people it's almost like having an early practice for applying to college. So these programs are free of charge, so they're really, really competitive. We have probably between 2,000 to 3,000 students applying to us. So I would suggest you apply to at least 6 different summer opportunities, especially if they're free of charge, or maybe even more. We will have a list of other opportunities on our website, and then we'll try to send out to you, but you do have to apply to them separately. So I would take this time right now to really do research and apply to several different programs.
So let's see, Shauna, thank you for answering about how competitive our program is. And I want to clarify that, yes, if you've taken your PSAT, you can also submit those scores. You can also submit your ACT scores if that's what you have. So just whatever standardized test scores you have, please submit those scores. It does not have to be the SAT.
Tiffany, can I add, too, that we just need one test score, too. So you're not at a more of advantage if you have multiple work. We just need one set of test scores. So.
Exactly. Thank you. Are we allowed to choose which program we want, or are we assigned to it? Also, if we get assigned to a program we can't attend, can we switch to another, or would we not be able to go? So, Shauna, do you want to take that one?
Yes. So we actually do the assignment for you, and you cannot switch programs if you cannot go. So in the end, this really has not been a large problem. So I would say don't spend too much energy thinking about that. Really do put together the best application possible, and then wait to see what happens. And you can always email us or contact us if something comes up.
Thank you. So I have a question about how many people were in the programs last year. So last year we had 72 students in our MITES program. We had 107 in our E2 program, and we had 133 in our MOSTEC program. So that's how many people we had in those programs last year. And we have a question about whether or not you receive credit for the different courses. Shauna, do you want to take that one again?
No problem.
We'll start spreading it around once we get to program things.
So you do not receive any credit for the coursework that you do, and what's good about that is that it allows you really to have an opportunity to take academic risk. You are assessed, you are graded, but you don't receive a grade. So that means at the end you actually receive a qualitative assessment about how you did in the program, and I think that is actually so much more meaningful. You can send that out. It's your choice once you see it. You can send it out to your college applications, or with your college applications or scholarship applications. It's really up to you. Maybe some of the alum on the panel can talk about what they received and how helpful that was, but that's what you will receive. And also, our programs are well known throughout the country, so people really look at them. Even though you're not getting college credit, you still get a lot of, I think they really respect the program, so that's a good thing. And right now, a lot of colleges, even like MIT, I mean, they really want you to take courses there, so once you come here, a lot of times you still end up taking your fundamental courses.
Thank you, Shauna. So I have a question about the MITES program, and Mira, why don't you go ahead and just give us a sense of whether or not you have a tight schedule or whether you're free to do what you would like to do.
Okay, that's a good question. As far as our schedule went, we got the syllabus in the beginning, which outlined exactly how our courses went. So we started 8 in the morning. Our classes ran until about 4-ish, and then we had guest speakers. So every opportunity at MITES is a great opportunity. So as far as free time goes, there wasn't much during the weekday, but I'm sorry, I don't know how to turn my video on. Yeah, there wasn't much opportunities during the weekdays, but mostly on the weekends you had a bit of time, but all of the all of the free time that you wanted was provided through our trips that was actually funded through the OUOP.
Thank you, Mira. So, Kenneth, if you could answer for us how difficult the MOSTEC program was for you in terms of workload.
Okay, so the workload for oh, am I on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So the workload, well, really, it sometimes depended. See, in my case, unfortunately, this past summer I was a procrastinator, so the workload was pretty rough. On the first day of MOSTEC, Lewis told us that you'll spend about, I believe it was 28 hours per week. It's all based on a week, so any assignments you have for any courses you're taking, it's all due within a week's time. So he said you'll spend about 28 hours per week or so at the minimum, that is. And that was definitely true for the science, because you have the science course as well as your project course. And the science course required you to do reading, obviously, about science, and about science writing, about communicating science ideas effectively, and also looking at controversial topics about like diversity or gender representation in STEM courses, or not STEM courses, but the STEM fields, and ethics as well. And then you have to actively participate in discussions with other students. And then with the project courses, well, it depends on your course. For me, I had a list of various programming exercises and circuitry exercises that had to be finished within, as I said, a week, and they weren't the easiest things to do, especially given that I had very little programming experience. So they were definitely challenging. And you also have, as Lewis mentioned earlier, weekly blogs where you that require a lot of self-analysis. And as easy as it seems to be able to look at yourself and just write it down, it's not that easy. You learn a lot about yourself. But the thing is, overall, though the workload is a lot, it's definitely worth it and it's fun. So, yeah.
Thank you, Kenneth. And we have a question about MITES, about which courses you took in MITES. And we actually have Chris Koenig joining us, who did MITES last year. So, Chris, if you would just do a quick introduction to yourself and which courses you took in MITES last year.
Okay, cool. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my name's Chris, Christopher Koenig. I'm from Texas, Mission, Texas, the Rio Grande Valley, and I'm a MITES 14 alum. So while I was at MITES, I took chemistry, physics 2, calculus 1, engineering design, and humanities 2. And so the way that you're placed into your courses is the very first weekend that you're there, that Friday or Saturday, you take placement exams. And so there's typically 3 different levels of classes for each of the core classes: physics, calculus, and the sciences, the life sciences. So that's chemistry, biology, and biochem. And so based on your results in those tests, you're placed into your classes. And so all of the students there, you're put in a class where you're put in a good position, not only to be able to succeed, but also be challenged, where it's not going to be overwhelming for you, but it's also not going to be something where you can just like sift through easily and go through. As far as the electives go, the way that's decided, at least for us, we got to rank our electives in terms of preference, and based on that, they kind of put you where they thought you'd fit in. So I did engineering design, and that was really awesome. Got to build a robot from scratch last summer. And then humanities was great as well. We did a lot of dialogue about racial tensions and racial representation in STEM, as well as different issues like technology and ethics and different things like that. So that was kind of my experience with the courses at MITES last year.
Thank you, Chris, for that. we have a question. We actually have another MOSTEC participant from last year, Salam, and I'm going to ask you how being in MOSTEC helped you prepare for the college application process.
Okay, can you hear me? Everyone hear me? Is that good? Okay, so, well, I think MOSTEC helped a lot in preparing for my college application process because it really opened my eyes in particular to kind of all the small details that you don't really get to think about and that I felt like my high school didn't really prepare me for. So I know a lot of people, like junior year going into college applications, I kind of had no idea what exactly I needed specifically in order to present myself as a good, holistic applicant to a college. I knew that, like, I knew about the SAT, and I knew that I had grades, but I didn't know about subject tests, and I didn't know about all the certain scores that I needed for certain schools. I didn't know that MIT, for example, requires certain recommendation letters for math and science teachers as opposed to just any one of your teachers, and I kind of didn't know a lot of details that I think without which I wouldn't have been able to succeed as well in my college application process. So I thought that MOSTEC really helped, especially in the months after we had our conference at MIT, in defining what you really need to do for your college application process and how to make yourself sort of a better applicant and a better, give yourself the best view of yourself that you could possibly present to a college.
Thank you for that. We have a question about which skills students should have before the program, and I'm going to send that one over to Shauna.
Okay, no problem at all. You know, I would say that when you apply, we will be looking at your application. We will select you based on the courses you've taken already, your academic record. So from our point of view, you're ready for our programs. So we're not looking for you to do a lot of pre-work ahead of time. We're looking at what you've already done. So we are looking for students who have taken a number of science and math classes. We're looking for students who, if you have them in your school, you've taken honors level classes or AP level classes in science and math. Again, I say if they are there because we recognize that students are coming from schools from all over the United States and even other places. So we wouldn't look at saying, we wouldn't say to you, well, you should have taken this if it's not in your school. We are looking for students who are on track to be in calculus by their senior year. So that means that when we look at students who are selected into our programs, about half of them are already in pre-calculus, and about half of them have probably already taken some form of calculus by their junior year. And trying to see what else are we looking for. In preparation for the program, if you're selected, I would just say, number one, get some good rest. As you have heard, when you get here, you'll be doing a lot of things and you'll have a busy schedule. When you get here, we will assess you on where you are now. So we're not asking you to do a bunch of studying right before you come to the programs. So that's what I would say. I think we have more information a little bit on the website. I'm not sure if anyone else wants to add to the question. Do we have anyone else? Okay, I think we'll move on. Patrick, we have someone who would love to know about the support provided by the E2 program. How supportive were the staff, and how did that support help you through the program? Do we have Patrick?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so when you first arrive at E2, you're given some sort of challenging task to complete by the end of the week, and it's usually through, well, your classes, they have a lecturer or a main teacher. In my case, the electronics course had Joe, and he was just a really awesome person. He had a sense of humor which lightened the mood whenever we were feeling sort of like overwhelmed by what we were doing, and he was really approachable, and he held office hours for whenever you had a question on maybe the code that you were doing or how to build something. And each class also had a TA who was, I think, a current MIT student, and they were there to like, as you were working, they were there. They went around as you were working on your project, and they asked you what you were doing. They made sure that you were aware of, like, how stuff worked, and they were just really, really, really helpful. And also outside of your classes, there were a bunch of other advisors and TAs, and they were just there to make sure that the social aspect of the program was a really welcoming one. And it was kind of like a community of just people who were there to help you and who were also really cool people. At the end of the E2 program, to relieve all of the stress that you had just gone through, there was a really, really big party in one of the residence halls, Simmons, and basically everyone came together, all the teachers, all the TAs, all the advisors, all the students came together and just danced and had a really good time. There was food and stuff like that, and basically it just gave a sense of, a really good sense of support, even outside of the program. You could talk to people. Many of the classes made, I guess, GroupMe, like texting groups. So a lot of times, if we were in the school year, a lot of times if you had a question about something, you could just go to the GroupMe, and someone from the summer program, even though you weren't there, would still respond. And basically, it was just, even to this day, like, lifelong acquaintances and friends that you could rely on whenever you need something. And so I'm thankful to the E2 program for that.
Thank you for that. I have some questions about what is paid for through the program. So I just want to let everyone know that we take care of all of the expenses and food, lodging, any course materials that you need. The only thing that you're responsible for is your travel. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that that's what we mean when we say that our programs are offered free of charge. So our next question. Oh, sure.
Sorry, yeah, and that's travel to and from the program. So that means that while any travel within the program while you're on campus or trips that we take, we cover all those costs. And if you get into the program and you're concerned about your travel costs to and from the program, then you should contact the office.
Thank you, Shauna. And we just had a question about when you will know whether or not you were accepted, and we will have those decisions out by mid-April. So we don't have a specific exact date yet, but sometime in mid-April. So just for your awareness. The next question that I have is for Train, and the question is whether or not you were able to choose your E2 course and what you chose and why.
So, application, you get to rank what course you want to take. But if a lot of people rank, like, I think the most popular one was get like your second or third choice. I personally chose engineering design just because I don't really remember why I chose that, but it was a great experience.
Thank you, Train. And I just wanted to remind everyone that as we're coming towards the end of the webinar, if you have any further questions, please feel free to email us at MITESApp, MITESAPP @MIT.edu, and we will answer those questions. I have some questions about recommendations, and please, if you have questions about recommendations, everyone has kind of a very specific personal story around their recommendations. So if you'll just email MITESApp about that, that would be great, and we will get back to you within 1 to 3 business days. Let me see what other questions we have. So we have a question for Mira about what your first day was like in the MITES program.
Oh, thank you. So the first day was really interesting in that it gave us an opportunity to meet with the people we're going to spend the next 6 weeks with. And you just walked into Simmons Hall and you just saw all of your TAs coming over and helping you with helping you with your bags and stuff, getting into your rooms, and you met your roommate that would be from like a whole different part of the country. So it was really cool in the different change environment right away, and you had a larger sense of freedom from the first day. And then we had a dinner during that later that day where we met the executive board of MITES, and we had a talk from Shauna, who totally set the mood for the rest of the program, which was incredible, and it really helped you get motivated and realize that you are here today for what you're going to do tomorrow. So it was really a great day, a great environment. It just totally proved that these next 6 weeks were going to be probably the coolest 6 weeks of your life.
Thank you, Mira. Thank you for that. We have a question about someone who doesn't necessarily know exactly what type of engineering they're interested in, but is wondering if they will find out more about their interests by doing one of the programs. So let me throw that over to Emily. Emily, are you there?
Yeah, hi. So if you don't really know what kind of engineering you want to go into, that's perfectly fine for MITES. Personally, I've had a little bit of experience with engineering before going to MITES, but I wasn't sure if I was too interested in engineering. I took architecture, but I did get to see a lot of engineering going to MITES, seeing the other electives as they did the process. And there are 6 different electives in MITES, and like 4 of them have to do with engineering. Engineering design, which is where you build a robot, underwater robotics, where you build a robot underwater, electrical engineering. Don't quite remember what the last one is, but point being is that you get to have experience and learn about engineering and get hands-on work with it. So that helps you decide a lot if you think engineering is right for you. And if it's not, then that's even better, because then you know. And you can also see if there are other fields that might interest you. For example, I learned that I really liked architecture during the program, and also physics and calculus. Right.
Thank you, Emily. And let's have the same question for Salam. Salam, did doing the program help you understand the different fields of engineering better?
Yeah, I think that it definitely did. Oh, my live, can I be heard? Yeah, so on the MOSTEC program, I think that I actually sort of learned what I did not want to do, in the sense that I sort of came in to engineering as like, I want to do engineering, but I also like had no real idea as to what sort of engineering I wanted to do. And going through MOSTEC, I took the neuroscience course, actually, and it was a lot of fun. I really liked the course that I took, but I think that I also realized the kind of the heart of my passions and what I really wanted to do for a living or for the better part of my life laid more with mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. And part of the way that I realized that were in the workshops that I took on our 5-day conference at MIT. So I took a programming workshop there, which was really, really fun, and I really liked at Google. And I also took an electrical engineering workshop at MIT in one of the MIT labs. And so now that I'm at MIT, I actually pursued pretty much exactly those 2 types of engineering. So I'm planning on doing mechanical engineering combined with computer science. And I think MOSTEC really helped me just explore all the different types of engineering that there was, and helped me really define my interests and see exactly what it was that all these degrees really mean, separate from academics, and what those career paths can really lead to in the real world.
Thank you. And let's hear from somebody from E2. Trey, will you let us know how it impacted what you knew about engineering fields, the E2 program?
You got cut off at the last part. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, sure, no problem. Trey, will you just let us know what you learned from the E2 program about which engineering fields did you feel like you knew more about them, and which direction you necessarily want to go in, even if it's maybe a different STEM field?
So before I did the E2 at MIT, I was on a pathway to pursue law because I did a lot of business in high school, and engineering wasn't really on my radar, and I wanted to try something new. So, and then engineering design is basically product design. So just like I remember the day when I realized that I wanted to do product design engineering was when my instructor brought us into the supply room, and he said, "This is all of the supplies that you have. I gave you a problem. Now go solve it." And like I felt like this bubble of excitement inside of me, and that's when I knew I wanted to do mechanical engineering.
Great, thank you so much, Trang. And we have some questions about any final advice that we have for those working on their essays. So I will say that the essays are very important to us. It really gives us the best sense of who you are. Does anyone else want to add to that? Shauna, maybe you can start.
Sure. And I saw a question, someone asked me privately, they have to leave at 4. I think we're all trying to try to wrap up and also maybe tape. This is being taped, so we'll see if we'll have this available. I would say, Tiffany, say the question again for me, please.
Any final advice about what to include on the essays?
Okay. I think the essays are your opportunity to really show us who you are. I would definitely, first of all, take your time with them, make sure they're grammatically correct, and they actually depict the full story. I mean, whatever you want to say, make sure it's thoughtful and that whoever's reading it gets that message that you're trying to portray. So what I suggest to students is once you write your essay, have someone read it, not just for grammatical errors or corrections, but then ask them to tell you back what they got out of your essay. And if it's not what you wanted the perception you wanted that person to have, then maybe you need to go back to the drawing board. So I think if you can think about writing clearly your thoughts and your ideas, think about when you're in your challenge essay. Obviously, people have different challenges, and it's fine. Some challenges for some students are literally, maybe it's the academic schedule you have. Some people might want to share something a little more personal, but remember that you want to also share something that you've actually kind of overcome. So where are you now with that challenge, and what skills or strategies did you develop to help you kind of work through that challenge? And even if you're not completely done with it, you know, you want to share the growing aspects of what you've done. Also, we ask you, what do you do for extracurricular activities? You know, if you don't like solving calculus problems in the middle of the night for extracurricular activities, that's fine. You can say, I like doing sports, or I like dance, I like whatever it is, because we really want to know you as a whole person, and we're going to be able to tell that you like science and math, and you do science and math and do well in it from your transcripts and from your letters of recommendation and from the essay that's about your interest in science and math. And so there's no kind of strategy or scheme. It's more of you sharing yourself through the essays, making sure you take the time so they don't feel rushed, and making sure that you have had someone look at them for editing purposes. Tiffany, would you agree or want to add anything?
Yes, absolutely. And I would say that the invention essay is a very important essay that we look at closely. We love to see the creativity that you have. Perhaps you answered this, Shauna, but for me, I love to see that essay. And yeah, so take your time with that and think it through. But all of the essays are very important to us because we get a really good sense of who you are as an applicant, and that's very important to us.
I would just add one more thing, Tiffany. The optional essay is really, it's just for extra information. It's optional. You don't have to just write something or add something into that space. We found that sometimes there were specific instances or situations happening with applicants, and they didn't know where to put that. So you don't have to put anything in that essay if there's nothing specific about your application that needs to be added. Would you agree, Tiffany?
Absolutely. It's something that you have there. If there's a circumstance you would like us to know about, if there's something you feel like you need to explain, then please add that in there. But there's no you're not penalized if you don't have something optional to add there. It's optional. Okay, we'll take one more question. One of the last questions, and Patrick, if you could answer this, did you have any interactions with MIT students while you were at MIT?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So over the summer, there are a few MIT students, not a lot of MIT students over there over the summer, but as you're walking around campus, you do get to interact with whoever you see, and there were a couple of students over the summer who recognized that we were a part of the MITES or E2 program, and if it was really cool if they also did that program, they would say hello to you, and basically you would be able to start a conversation about your experiences in the program there too. And for the most part, all of the advisors or TAs or volunteers for the program were either current students or alumni who had graduated already. And basically, whenever you wanted to ask them about their experience as an actual undergraduate at MIT, they were totally willing and even enthusiastic about answering those questions. So yes, you are exposed to people who are currently experiencing what MIT is like.
Tiffany, can we have Esther say just a few words since she's answering a lot of the questions for them?
Sure. Esther, do you have anything that you would like to add about your own experience or questions that you're seeing as you're answering that you feel like we should bring to the general discussion?
Hi. I don't have video permission, so I don't think you guys are going to see me. But MITES alum, 2008, I've been hanging out with a lot of you guys in the Q&A. There's a lot that are coming in related to SAT scores, and if you can turn in all 5 of them, we touched upon that earlier in the webinar, so you can go back and see the recording. You only need to submit 1 score. If you have more specific questions that we don't get to because we are closing off, you can go ahead and send them to mitesapp@mit.edu. I will be the one answering your lovely questions, and I promise I'm nice. And have lots of fun with your application. It's really all about getting to know you guys and learning about your passion. So don't stress it, just be you.
Thank you, Esther. That was a great way to end this. And I wanted to just say thank you to everyone who participated, all of our panelists, and to all of you who are there. Joy, if you want to go ahead and close it up. Before we do, I did see one question about whether or not the teacher recommendations are due February 4th or February 18th now. This is our first time we're talking about the fact that you need to have your teacher recommendations sent. You need to email your teachers for the recommendations, and your teacher by February 4th. Your teachers then have until February 18th to submit their recommendation. I hope that didn't confuse you too much, but you must have sent the invitation to your teachers by February 4th, by the close of the application. You need to have all of the sections of your application complete, and the teacher recommendation and the counselor recommendation need to be pending. You can also submit your test scores after that February 4th deadline before February 18th. So if there are further questions about that, Joy, perhaps you want to repeat this and clarify what I've just said. And again, please email us at mitesapp@mit.edu. Joy, go ahead, take it away. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
If you don't mind, I just want to add one more thing.
Go ahead, Louis.
To what Tiffany said. So just to be clear, so for your test scores, for you to submit your application before February 4th, you do have to have completed that section. So when you look at the front page of your application, it has to say complete next to the test scores section. But then after February 4th, you are still going to be able to edit that section until February 18th. So this is useful if you have new information to share with us. If you have new grades or if you have new standardized test scores between February 4th and February 18th, you can still edit that section. However, to submit your application, which needs to be done before February 4th, you do have to have completed that section, the test scores section. So don't leave that blank. Make sure you fill that out, press submit, and then you can still edit it until February 18th. Hopefully that's clear to everybody.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you for that. Can I say one last thing too?
Sure.
I wanted to say Joy really wanted this to be motivational to you all to finish your applications, and so we want you to be excited, and we want you to definitely, like, you know, let us know if you have questions. We are so delighted to have, 300 students on this webinar is amazing. So I'm really excited. We're all excited, and let us know if you have questions. Thank you so much, Joy, for all your hard work putting this together.
All right, guys, so we are over time, as some of you guys mentioned in the chat, but I want to thank you again for taking the time out of your Saturdays to come and spend it with us. Just to reiterate, again, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to email us at mitestaff.mit or call the office at 617-253-3298. We are so excited to begin really reading and learning a lot about you guys, and I hope that we have the opportunity to meet you guys again soon. If you did miss the entire webinar, I see you, Francisco. We are going to post it on the website as well as on the MITES application page once we are done with everything. So thank you so much again, and best of luck with the rest of your applications. All right, bye, guys.